Today we're diving into something that feels, well, almost like magic, but it's actually hard science. We're talking about the biology of connection, how relationships don't just feel good, but can literally, physically, heal the human brain.
And this quote right here, it really gets to the heart of it. This is the radical idea we're going to unpack. For so long, we've thought of the relationship, between a therapist and a client, as just the warm-up act, the prelude. But what if it's the main event? What if the connection is the medicine?
I mean, think about it. We've all had that feeling, right? That sense of relief, of calm that washes over you when someone just gets it. When you feel truly seen and heard. It's an ancient human intuition. But here's the game changer. Now we can actually measure it. We can see it happening inside the brain.
So that brings us to our big question for today. What if all this stuff, empathy, presence, feeling connected, what if these aren't just soft skills? What if they're powerful biological forces that can literally rewire our brains? Let's look at the evidence, starting with the organ itself. Okay, our first stop takes us deep inside the skull, to a truly incredible set of cells that act as our built-in hardware for empathy. We're talking about the mirror neuron system.
Now, this is a really crucial distinction. Our brains have two ways of figuring people out. There's cognitive inference. That's where you're thinking about what someone else might be feeling. It's a guess. But mirror neurons do something way deeper. It's called embodied simulation. Your brain doesn't just guess, it actually generates the feeling itself. You don't just think with the other person, you feel with them.
And we can see this. With fMRI scans, you can watch it happen. In those moments of real connection, the same brain regions light up in both people. You see the insula, which handles our gut feelings. You see the anterior cingulate cortex, the brain's empathy headquarters. It's not a metaphor, people. It is a measurable brain-to-brain link-up.
So here's the bottom line for this section. When someone is truly deeply listening to you, it's not symbolic. It's a real physical event. Your brains are literally, physiologically, getting in sync. You're creating a shared neurological space.
Wild, right?
But this brain-to-brain link is just the beginning. Now we're going to go even deeper, past the brain and into the nervous system itself. This is where we get into polyvagal theory, the science of how our bodies are constantly, unconsciously scanning for safety, and this beautiful dance called co-regulation.
And look at this. This is just stunning. Researchers tracked the synchrony of heart rate variability. That's the tiny little fluctuations in your heartbeat that show how stressed or relaxed you are. They found that when two people's heart rates get in sync, it predicts therapeutic success with 73% accuracy. You know what's crazier? That's a better predictor than what the people said they were feeling. Our bodies know when healing is happening, sometimes even before our conscious minds catch on.
And this is the profound insight here. We are not isolated little islands. We're not meant to be. Through things like the tone of our voice, eye contact, even how we breathe, our nervous systems are in a constant, quiet conversation, calming and soothing each other. It's called co-regulation.
So this connection, this synchrony, it's not just some fleeting feeling. It creates real, lasting physical change. This is where the temporary state becomes a permanent trait.
A safe, tuned-in relationship basically opens up the body's own pharmacy. It releases this amazing cocktail of neurochemicals. You get oxytocin, the bonding hormone. You get dopamine for reward and motivation, serotonin for mood, even our body's own natural opioids for comfort. The relationship itself becomes a source of powerful internal medicine.
And the effects don't stop at the neck. That feeling of safety and connection sends signals all throughout the body that can literally cool down physical inflammation. And yeah, we've got the data to prove it.
So studies show that therapies built on this kind of connection have a huge impact. For example, levels of this key inflammatory marker, interleukin-6, can drop by a massive 35%.
And then there's C-reactive protein, a huge indicator of systemic inflammation in the body. That falls by 28%.
And get this, levels of TNF-alpha, which is a really potent inflammatory agent, can be slashed by an incredible 42%. The message here is impossible to ignore. A healing relationship acts like a powerful, biological anti-inflammatory.
So how does this actually work? How does this rewiring happen over time? Well, it's a process. It happens in steps. First, you have to build that foundation of safety and co-regulation. Then, from that safe place, you can start to recognize the old, painful patterns. Next, by repeatedly having a new, healthier experience in the relationship, the brain starts to gradually rewire. And finally, that new pattern isn't something you have to think about anymore. It becomes integrated. It becomes part of you.
So when you pull all of this together, the mirror neurons, the synced-up nervous systems, the neurochemical baths, the anti-inflammatory effects, it's not just a collection of cool facts. It points to something totally revolutionary, a whole new paradigm for how we think about healing.
Just look at this table. This shows a massive shift in how we even talk about this stuff, which changes how we see it. We're moving from diagnosis to field mapping, looking at the entire relational system, from prescription to presence modulation, where the therapist's own calm state becomes a tool. We go from worrying about compliance to fostering co-regulation, and from being the expert to practicing attunement. It is a totally different universe.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? The goal isn't for an expert to come in and fix a broken machine. The idea is to create a relational field that is so safe, so coherent, so attuned, that the brain's own deep intelligence can do what it does best, reorganize itself back towards health. You're not fixing it, you're mirroring it into wholeness.
And that, of course, brings us to a final, fascinating, and maybe even a little bit scary frontier. If this profound healing process is all about mirroring, what happens when we start building better mirrors?
I mean, think about it. If presence and attunement and co-regulation, if these are all trackable biological skills, well, then the next logical question has to be, can we teach them? And not just to people. Could we actually program an AI to do this? Could we write code for the rhythm of safety? And that's the question I want to leave you with. What happens to us, what happens to our world when our most advanced technology becomes our most powerful mirror? What will we see, and what will it see in us? The implications are just staggering.